Hi! In this second video for the beginning wire wrapping series, I'm going to show you how to use wire and a bead to create a wire wrapped link. This is going to give you a loop on both sides of the bead and can be used to create necklaces, bracelets, and earrings. I'll show you how to do that in the next video. If you missed the first video in the series, make sure to click on the link in the description below. Okay, now we're ready to create the link. I've got my wire and I've got my tools here. If you missed the tools, you can watch the first video in this series to go over the tools a little bit more thoroughly. However, I've got my round nose, chain nose, and my wire cutters here. I've also got a couple of bicone beads here that we're going to make a link out of. And then just like the head pins I showed you in the first video, wire comes in various gauges or thicknesses as well. For this video, I'm going to use 24 gauge wire. I'm going to cut about 3 inches of wire to work with to create one link. As you practice this technique, you'll get a feel for how much wire you need to create a link. And of course, I'm adding only 1 bead to create this link, but if you're using more beads or larger beads, I may need a little bit more wire. I'm going to start by grabbing the wire about 1.5 inches down from the top of the wire. I'm going to use my chain nose pliers for this. Grab about 1.5 inches down, and then I'm going to go ahead and bend at a right angle. So you can see that now my tail and my base wire is at a right angle. Next, go ahead and pick up your round nose pliers. Remember, the further back you grab on the round nose pliers, the larger the loop. I'm going to grab about here with my pliers. This is very similar to how we created the wire wrapped loop on the head pin in the first video. Start rolling your round nose pliers, so that the wire begins to form around the plier, as you can see there. Then, without opening the pliers, you're going to want to grab your tail of the wire with your other hand and continue pulling the wire around the plier. This should give you a nice round centered loop on the wire. Next, you'll want to pick up your chain nose pliers, grab the loop you just created. Remember, just grab the surface of the loop so that you have a good grip on the loop. Do not put the nose of the plier in the loop itself. That will change or mess up the loop that you created. Then you're going to want to begin wrapping the tail around the base of the wire. You'll want to wrap about 3 wraps. This is a good standard amount of wraps. Okay, so I'm just pulling it around. I readjust my grip, pull it around. Now, each time you come around, you want to lay that wire right down next to the wire that you previously wrapped, as you can see there. So I'm pulling down and around, readjust, lay it right down next to the one that I just created. And there we have 3 nice wraps. Okay. Now 3 is a good standard amount of wraps. However, if you prefer less wraps or more wraps, that's totally up to you. Just want to make that adjustment. Then I'm going to go ahead and take my wire cutters. Just get in there nice and close and cut the tail. Again, holding the tail here so the wire doesn't go flying. Okay, now I've got a little bit of wire sticking up, as you can see there. In order to get that to lay down, I'm going to use my chain nose pliers. I don't want anything sticking up and potentially catching on clothing when I wear my jewelry. So I'm going to just take my chain nose pliers and just give it a tiny squeeze just to make it lay down. And you can see that that is no longer sticking up. Okay, so what we've created now is an eye pin, essentially, or a loop on one side of the wire. An eye pin or a loop is there now that we can use this to attach it to other components or chain or other links, and I'll show you that in the next video. For now, we're going to go ahead and add a bead to our wire. I'm going to treat it just like a head pin, like we did in the previous video, so that the bead does not fall off here. Then go ahead and take your chain nose pliers and again grab up above the bead just about the same amount that you did in the previous video. Bend your wire at a right angle. So that space that we left there is going to be where the wraps of the wire will be. And go ahead and take your round nose pliers. Grab back from the bend again. I'm going to grab at the same part of my pliers as I did before, so I hopefully have the same size loops on both sides. Go ahead and roll my plier towards me. As you can see, it's starting to form around the tip of the plier to create that round loop. And then go ahead and take your tail, pull it down and around the plier to finish off that loop. Then you can go ahead and remove your round nose plier. Then I'm going to finish off the wrap by wrapping the tail down to the bead. Use my chain nose pliers again, hold the loop, and then go ahead and pull my wire down and around. Each time really watching where that wire is laying. I want it to lay right down next to the one that I just did, not overlapping at all. And there we go, a nice 3 wrapped link. And again, I'm going to take my cutters, get in here nice and close, making sure to not cut the loop itself, and go ahead and cut the wire. Now if I have a little bit still sticking out again, I'm just going to go ahead and use my chain nose pliers to tuck that tail ever so slightly in so it doesn't snag on any clothing. And there you have it, a wire wrapped link. I'm going to show that to you one more time. Again, I'm going to take my piece of wire. About 3 inches will get you a good link. You can see that I have a little bit of wire left over. And again, as you start to practice more and more, you'll have less wire left over. All right, grab down about 1.5 inches from the top. Bend at a right angle. Use my round nose pliers to grab back from the bend. Start rolling. So you can see that I start getting that loop. Pull my tail around to complete the loop. Then I can open my pliers, release them, use my chain nose pliers to grab the loop. Just to hold on, take my short tail and I'm going to wrap it around my base wire here 3 times. Remembering to lay the wire right down next to the one we just did. Okay, then go ahead and cut that tail off. And tuck that tail if you need to. If you're lucky, you can get in there nice and close and you shouldn't have to tuck. Okay, then go ahead and take a bead. Stick it on your created wrapped eye pin here. Chain nose pliers, grab up from the bend. Bend your wire away from you so that it's at a right angle. Use your round nose pliers again, grabbing on the same part of your round nose so you can create consistent size loops. Start wrapping it around, pull around to create a nice even circle or loop. Release your pliers. Grab your chain nose just to grab on, nice good grip. And go ahead and pull the wire or tail around the base wire until you get to the bead. And then go ahead and cut. Again, nice and close, making sure to hold the wire so it doesn't go flying across the room. Tuck your little tail in if you need to. And there you have it. Nice job. Now you know how to create a wire wrap link. In the next video, I'll show you how to use the link and also the charm from the first video to connect to each other or to other components, findings, and chain to begin building your jewelry projects.